Here is how to create a new library and project inside of Final Cut Pro. So you go to File, New, click on Library. So now you could put it on just the desktop or like a folder. So I have a folder called Final Cut Pro. So I hit Save. So I now have that library. You can also change the title. So that one I had it untitled. So this one I'll just call Videos. And now I have it as a new library. So once you have your library selected, you can go to File, New. You'll want to do an event. So since I'm making a tutorial, I'll just call this tutorial. And now inside of the event, I'll go ahead and create a new project. Call it tutorial, choose your frame rate and everything, and then hit OK. And now you have your new project. I'm going to show how you can grab your regular video like 1920 by 1080 and turn it into a vertical video for places like YouTube Shorts, TikTok, or Instagram Reels. So you want to right click on your original video, click on duplicate project as. I'll go ahead and just title this vertical video, edit. Click on video format, and I'll go to vertical. Click on smart conform. And then I'll click on 1080 by 1920 since the original project file was 1920 by 1080. Click on OK. You now have your new video right here. Double click it and it's now in vertical format. Now you can click on the project, click on keyframe, and basically move the video over whenever you need to. So if I click on play, I can then move this over to the right. And then click on keyframe, hit play a little bit, and then move it back to the left. And now you can just go through your regular edit and do all of the keyframing so that way it completely fits on a vertical video. I'm going to show how you can edit on a bigger screen inside of Final Cut Pro. You can drag this stuff over to left and right to create a bigger space. And if you already have, let's say, all the clips you need from here onto your timeline, you can use these options over here to remove the extra things and now just make the screen by itself. If you want to be able to see the screen bigger, you can move this down more and still edit off of here. And then same thing with the other way. You can make it bigger and have the screen up here. Let's get rid of the screen. So now you have a much easier timeline to edit on. The other thing is you can go to Window, click on Show in Workspace, and everything that you have selected, it shows. Whatever is not selected, it doesn't show. So audio meters, and now removes the audio meters. You can go over here to Workspaces and actually click Save Workspace As. Let's just put full screen, hit Save. So now when you go to Workspace, go back to default, so everything's back to normal. You're able to just click Window, Workspaces, Full Screen, and it brings you back to there. How to edit off an external hard drive in Final Cut Pro X. The external hard drive that I'm using is the 2TB SSD T7. I highly recommend this to edit off of. So in Final Cut, you want to go to File, New, and click on Library. I'll just name this T7. For location, you just put it on the T7. Hit Save. So you're now editing off of the T7. Let's just make a new event, new project. Alright, so you have a file in here. Now if you eject the external hard drive, it's saying Final Cut Pro is using it. So if you remove the external hard drive, it no longer works on Final Cut. You can now move the external hard drive to any computer that has Final Cut you want and edit off of it. When you open up T7, you'll see that you have the library. You can now plug in an external hard drive. So you open up your other external hard drive, call it something like backup, and once you're finished with the project, you can move the finished library over to your backup hard drive. And once it finishes, you can now delete it off of your editing hard drive and start the next project. Cool thing you can also do is just simply rename these. So if you click Enter, I can just name it Editing. And then on the other one, Enter, and just call it Backup. And this helps to keep your hard drives organized. Here's how to fix blown out footage when you bring it into Final Cut Pro from your iPhone. So come over to the Effects and type HDR. Grab HDR Tools. It is now a little bit better. Go over to Mode and click HLG to REC. And there you go. You now have your footage fixed. How to fix audio if it recorded in only one ear, as you can hear. Audio test. It's only on the left side. So first thing is you want to go to Window, go to Show in Workspace, and click on Audio Meters. And now it will show you that you only have your left side of audio working. Click on the audio, go up to the audio inspector, go to Mode and click on Basic Surround. All you gotta do is just click right here in the middle. Audio test. And you'll see the audio is now evened out. You can also move things so it's more on the left. Bring it to about the middle. Should even it out. Audio test. Sometimes when you do this, your audio will also get more quiet since it's even out on both sides. So another setting you can click on is loudness and turn this up to whatever number. Audio test. This is without. Audio test. And this is with loudness at 100. Audio test. As you can see, it's about -20 without, and then once you add loudness, audio test is closer to -12. To record audio in Final Cut Pro X, you go to Window, go down to Record VoiceOver, and now on the inputs, if you have any kind of external microphone, you can click on it and switch to that device. So I have the Scarlett Solo plugged in, which allows you to plug in external microphones. You can then monitor, have it turned off or on so you're able to hear what you're saying. You can have the countdown to record, so it gives you a countdown before it starts recording when you hit the record button. You can mute the project, so whatever you have already on the timeline does not make sound as you are talking. And you can also create audition from takes. You can also change the name of the audio, so save it to test. Now hit record, it gives you a countdown. Audio test, test, test. This is a audio test of the microphone. Now, even though you can do this in Final Cut, you can also do it in different programs like GarageBand. I'm actually recording this audio right now in GarageBand, and then after I'm done, I just hit share, hit song to music, and then I can go into Final Cut and drag it right into my timeline. How you can set up an adjustment layer inside of Final Cut Pro. So if you download FX Factory, they have a lot of plugins for Final Cut Pro. Once you have FX Factory, you can search adjustment layer, and right here, it's free. So you'd click on download. It would then download it over to Final Cut, and now inside of Final Cut you go over to titles. Right here you have adjustment layers. They give you a lot of different options, like right here they have guides, and so you can move these lines around. They have widescreen, a bunch of different options, and then they have just the normal adjustment. So you can drag this line out here. Now anything that you add to this line will affect all the footage below it. So if you're doing something like adding color, go ahead and type color, grab color board, put it on the adjustment layer, double click color board, and now say if you change color, it adds it to all of the footage below. Here's how you can change your shortcuts in Final Cut Pro. So if we click on Final Cut Pro, go to Commands, click on Customize. You now have all the shortcuts that you can put onto your keyboard. Now for me, I always put Q for delete, because when I'm editing, I usually have my finger on the Q button, so I'm able to just easily delete. And then I have Command B is to cut the video clip, so the blade tool. So I'll click on Q, and over here I already have it on delete. So I'll go ahead and erase all of those. So now when I save it, so now when I click on Q, it's not deleting. So go to Final Cut, Commands, Customize. I'll click on Q, then I'll scroll down to delete, and I'll just drag the delete over here to Q, and now you have it right here that Q deletes. So I also do the same thing for Command and Q. So I'll click on Command, so now drag delete over here. So now I have delete for Q and Command Q, and the reason why I do that is I always have my fingers on Command B for the blade tool, and then I have it for Q. But if I do it too fast, usually Command and Q quits Final Cut, and so I would accidentally quit Final Cut all the time. So I just made both Command Q and Q delete, so I stopped accidentally quitting Final Cut. So now I click on Save and exit out. Now I click on Q, it deletes. I'll hit Command Z to redo. If I hold Command and Q, it deletes. How you can easily switch between different camera angles in Final Cut Pro X while editing. So I have my footage down here. Something that is always good to think about is labeling the video so it makes it easier. So I'll just go ahead and type wide and then close up. So now I'll drag these two videos into my project. And now clicking on both of these, I'll right click and click new multicam clip. You want to use the audio as it will help to put the two clips together, and you can hit use custom settings and you have all these different things you can change if you need to. So now that I have the multicam clip, I can drag it into my timeline. If you right click, you have active video angle, and now you can switch between close-up and wide. You can also activate the audio you want. So my good audio was on wide. So something I like to usually do is I would just detach audio, so now it's a separate clip. Now that you have your multicam clip here, you can go over to view, go to show in viewer, click on angles, and you now have your close-up and your wide. So now when you scroll through here, if you click on close-up, it makes a cut and switches between the two. What's really cool is you can use the numbers on your keypad. So 1, 2, 1 would be close up, 2 would be wide, and you can just hit play and switch between the two. So I'm gonna hit play. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can easily switch between different camera angles in Final Cut Pro X while editing. So now when you go back and you hit play. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can easily switch between different camera angles in Final Cut Pro X while editing. Here is a quick test of the video stabilization feature inside of Final Cut Pro. So here's two different shots I have. The camera is very shaky on both of these, so let's go ahead and see how Final Cut Pro does at stabilizing. So when you click on the video clip, you can go all the way to the bottom, and then there's a stabilization feature. When you first click it, it should say analyzing the motion. I already have done this before, so the clip already is analyzed, but when you hit playback, you can see it's much smoother. And now what you could do, since I have the shot pretty high up, you can just rezoom. So I can go all the way down here. So now it's better framed. Now if you go back to normal and take off stabilization, you'll see it's very shaky. So you can go through these different settings and find which one you think works the best. So analyzing for dominant motion. Up here it's usually loading. You can also go move these settings around. Now with this one, the camera is extremely shaky, and so after activating it, here's with the inertia cam. It does an incredible job at keeping it more stable. Here's automatic. And then here is the smooth cam. So this one doesn't really do too good, moves around too much, but I think the inertia cam does a pretty good job of keeping it stable. You can title track inside of Final Cut Pro. I have some footage I got for free from pexelsvideos.com. On this video, I'm gonna wanna title track onto this car. So let's go ahead and click on the video, go over to the right and scroll down to the bottom to where it says trackers. Click on the plus button. If we touch down on the edge of the grid, you can shorten it, go up to 55%, let's zoom in to 200. Actually, just go ahead and zoom into 400. I think for a really good track, we should try to track one of the brake lights. So once you have a good placement on the brake lights or whatever you're tracking on your footage, let's hit analyze. We can now quickly scroll through to see if it was able to get a good track. It looks like it did. Now that we have that tracked, we can go back to titles, and let's go ahead and grab a 3D title. Hit Command B to cut the end of the title. Now you're going to want to go over to the title part of the 3D and uncheck build in and build out. If you click on your 3D text, it will let you move in 3D. So we're just going to push this back in 3D space to make it look like it's above the car. Up here you can change the angle of the text. Let's go ahead and zoom back in to 200. Now you basically just want to make it look like the text is over the car. Let's go ahead and turn it this way a little bit. I'm going to change the font to phosphate and change it to solid. You now have a lot of control over the text. You can go ahead and come to 3D text and you'll see depth. So you can, let's see, I'll go ahead and make it easier to see. So you can add depth to the text. You can go into lighting style. Let's go ahead and have it go above. Under material, you can click on here and actually have all these pre-made materials, but what I like to do is come over to options basic and click on add layer, and let's go ahead and add paint, smooth paint. click on the color, and you can now click on this brush right here and click anywhere you want to add that color. So if we're to try to add the same car color, it now makes the color the same. Or if you want to add just the environment, go over to that color, and now it kind of blends in more with the environment. For the text, I'm just going to add car. Now to keep the text with the car, click on the transform button, come over to the arrow next to tracker. Make sure your tracker source is the video. On tracker, click it and hit object tracked. You can actually also change the name of the tracker over here. You can double click it and just go ahead and type car. So now when you come over here to the tracker is called car. But now when you play it back, it stays with the car. Now you play it back in full screen, you have car above the car. The best way that I have found to sync video and audio, once you open up Final Cut Pro, create a new event, create a new project. Now upload both your video and audio. Now what you want to do is click on both the video and the audio, and you'd right click and you would hit synchronize clips. But I have found that it does not work as good as creating a new multicam clip. So do a new multicam clip. We can just call it video and audio sync. And now with this new synchronized clip, you can drag it into your timeline. A tip to help when doing this is to clap to help the audio sync better. And now you double click on this clip and it'll take you into both the video and the audio. And as you can see, it is now lined up. And when you go back here, you can right click, go to active audio. You want to click on your recorded audio. You now have your better audio playing. What you can do if you receive the you're running out of storage message inside of Final Cut Pro and you can't add any more to the edit, if there's just one project that you need, an easy way to clear out storage is if you go to new library, and I'll just save it as new video. You can move the video that you're working on to the new library. I usually just leave everything checked, hit OK. Hit transcode, and now it's moving everything over. And a lot of times when I've done this, there's like 2 or 3 projects that I need that I'll move over all at once. After it's finished, you can click on your other library, click reveal and finder. Now it brings you to the library that you have. You can now just drag it into the trash can, delete it, and you'll get back all of that storage. How you can get rid of background noise inside of your videos in Final Cut Pro X. Here's what my video sounds like before. Right now I am recording this video with background sound, and this is on the iPhone with no microphone. What I usually use is this option right here called voice isolation. So it automatically goes to 50%, and here's what it sounds like. Right now I am recording this video with background sound, and this is on the iPhone with no microphone. And if you think it doesn't quite sound as good, you can move the percentage up and down. So here's 75%. Right now I am recording this video with background sound, and this is on the iPhone with no microphone. And some other options you can use to bring up the audio is loudness, and you can move it up percentage. Right now I am recording this video with background sound, and this is on the iPhone with no microphone. Or you can create a tracker on footage in Final Cut Pro and add an object. In this video, I'm going to place the Pokemon Charizard onto this footage. So when you go to your footage, if you scroll down here, you have the thing that says trackers. Click on the plus button. Now you want to find something in your footage that you can track. So I will go ahead and make tracker just a little bit smaller, and I'll just place it right over this log, and then you hit analyze. You'll be able to then scroll through and see how it did. So it looks like didn't do too good, so I'll hit reset. And the trick is you kind of just keep on trying it until you get a better track. You can even go ahead and just zoom on in to get a better look at a spot you can track. So I'll go ahead and make this a lot shorter and just try like right on the edge of the log. Okay, so it looks like this worked. So now you can come over here, and on the object track you can double click it, and I'll just go ahead and put Pokemon. So here's what I want to place into this footage. I'll go ahead and cut it to where Charizard has already landed. Place this on top of the footage. Go ahead and hit Command B to cut it off right at the edge. Go over into my effects, go to keying, grab the keyer to remove the green screen. So once you click on transform, you can come over to this little arrow, click on tracker, and I'll go ahead and click on Pokemon and click on scale. And now I'm gonna go over here and just scale up Charizard and move him to where I want him on this video. Go ahead and scale him up some more, and now see how this looks. Rotate him just a little bit, and now play it back. And they got Charizard, and then of course you can scale him up even more, and now it looks like you got Charizard inside the footage. Go ahead and scale it down a little bit, move him down, so now he's a lot shorter. And that is how you are able to add an object into your video. And of course, if this doesn't work fully, you can click V to hide Charizard, click here, click on reset, and then try doing this again just to see if you can get a better track. I wanted to show how you can find the video you used in Final Cut Pro X when you accidentally delete it from your computer. So right now I have the video clip in Final Cut, and I'm waiting for it to officially render it into Final Cut. So sometimes after the video is complete, you'll accidentally delete the original footage. So I'm just gonna hit Command and C to copy the name, and now I'm gonna throw it away and delete it. So now the file is deleted. It still plays on the computer. Search the name. It's not here. It's on this Mac, it's not here, but still works on Final Cut. You can go up to the original clip, right click, and hit Reveal in Finder, and then it will bring you to the original media tab, so you'll still have the file saved in Final Cut. You can then drag it back to your desktop. Once you drag it out of the original media, you can now see it disappears. So then if you were to move it to, say, a different computer, you would then just hit Relink Files, Original Media. There we go, you now have it back to normal. Now ideally, you don't want to remove it from the original media file, but if you really need to get the original file, that's the way to do it. Here's what you do in Final Cut Pro when you try to add a transition to your clips and you get this notification. There is not enough extra media beyond the clip edges to create the transition. So when you create the transition, it ends up using a bit more of the footage. But what you can do, go to the edge of the clip, go over to Edit, click on Add Freeze Frame. You can now highlight the two of these and hit Option G. And click on M to mark where the picture frame is. If the clip then starts at the beginning of the next footage, you do the same thing. Just go over to the last frame, hit Edit, Add Freeze Frame. You can then remove the freeze frame, add a transition. Go over to the Apple logo, click on System Settings, scroll down to Displays. You have two different displays here now, so click on Arrange. Here you can grab on the extra display and you can move it to whatever side you want it to be on. And I usually have it on the right side since my display is on the right. You can also mirror or extend it too by clicking here and clicking on the device. Once you're in Final Cut, all you gotta do now is click on Window, scroll down to Show in Secondary Display, click on Browser. The browser is now on the second display. Click on Window. You can then go to Viewers. So now your viewer is in the other display. And then you can also do Timeline. So your timeline's in the other display. If you want to switch, you can click on Window and click Move to HP 27. And now it switches the two. If you want to bring it back to normal, just click on what you already had clicked. So Timeline, and now it goes back to normal. That's it for this video. Please consider commenting, liking, subscribing as it helps this channel to grow, and thank you so much for watching.